Imagine setting out for a new life, packing everything you own, only to just disappear completely.
Yeah, leaving behind your dog, your money, just a huge, baffling mystery. What could even explain that?
Hey everyone, and welcome to The Sins Within. We're the place where we dig into the unsettling, the unexplained.
And for our very first deep dive together, we're tackling a really tough one, the strange, disturbing case of the Jamison family from Oklahoma.
Right? Bobby, Sherilyn, and their little girl, Madyson, they vanished back in October 2009.
And well, years later, their remains were found, but how they died, still just a big, haunting question mark.
Have you ever stumbled on a mystery like that? One that just gets under your skin because none of the pieces seem to fit?
This case is definitely one of those for me.
No.
So many weird angles.
Absolutely. So if you find this stuff as intriguing as we do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button, give us a like.
Yeah, we've got a lot more cases like this lined up right here on The Sins Within.
Okay, let's get into it. The Jamison's Bobby, he was 44, Sherilyn 40, and little Madyson was just 6, living in Eufaula, Oklahoma.
And their story takes this incredibly dark turn in October 2009. Our sources for this, by the way, are kind of all over Reddit threads, Wikipedia, news reports, even a pretty detailed YouTube exploration.
So the timeline kicks off around October 8th, 2009. That's the last day anyone sure they saw the family. They were packing up their truck.
Right. Their plan apparently was to drive about an hour away to the Sans Blas Mountains near a place called Red Oak.
And they were going to look at land, like 40 acres.
Exactly. And get this, they were even talking about maybe buying it and just living in a storage container out there.
A storage container. Wow. Okay, that right there is something. What prompts that kind of move? Isolation, a fresh start, or something else.
That's the question, isn't it? It feels like there's a story behind just that decision.
Definitely. So they head off supposedly on the 8th, then silence until 8 days later.
Yeah, their truck is found, just abandoned on some dirt road in Latimer County south of Kinta.
And this is where it gets really, really strange. Inside the truck,
Their dog, Maisie. And she was in bad shape, severely malnourished.
which suggests she'd been stuck in that truck the whole time, right?
Yeah,
For 8 days.
seems like it. And alongside her, investigators found, well, everything. IDs, wallets, cell phones, a GPS.
In the cash. Let's not forget the cash,
Oh, yeah. Around $32,000 in cash. Just sitting there.
which is just wild. For a family that was reportedly, getting welfare disability benefits, where did that money come from?
And why leave it behind? If you're robbed, they take the money. If you leave voluntarily, you take your money and ID. It makes no sense.
Exactly. So leaving the cash, the phones, the IDs,
Yeah.
it strongly points away from them just deciding to walk off.
Yeah, you don't leave essentials like that. And the poor dog's condition, it really locks in that timeline. They didn't just pop out for short walks. Something happened suddenly.
Right from the get-go, the scene screams foul play, or at least something went terribly wrong, very unexpectedly.
And the details just get weirder. There's security footage from their home the day they were packing.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about that. Described as really eerie.
Well, yeah. Bobby and Sherilyn moving really slowly, almost like in a trance, silently packing the truck, sometimes walking back and forth without carrying anything.
Okay, see, that does sound odd. Some people online thought maybe they were under duress, or not in their right minds somehow.
But then again, others pointed out, moving is stressful. You're exhausted. Maybe you're just going through the motions, totally zoned out.
That's true too. It's amazing how you can interpret the same footage in completely different ways depending on your mindset.
Exactly. It shows how tough it is for investigators, what's a real clue and what's just normal human weirdness under pressure.
And the weirdness definitely doesn't stop there. Their pastor had some pretty unsettling things to say.
Oh, right. He said they believed their house was haunted, like seriously haunted.
Seeing spirits, Sherilyn thought, one with angel wings. And Madyson was talking to a ghost family.
Yeah. And Bobby apparently asked the pastor about getting special bullets. Bullets he thought could, kill spirits.
Wow. Special bullets. That's intense.
And Sherilyn was looking into whether their house was built on an old burial ground. It adds this whole layer about their mental state, or at least their beliefs, leading up to the disappearance.
Whether it was real paranormal stuff or stress or something else, it paints a picture of a family dealing with some heavy, unusual anxieties.
It really does. And you have to wonder, did these beliefs play into wanting to move somewhere so remote? Were they trying to escape something they thought was supernatural?
It gets even stranger, though. There are reports Bobby had been reading the Satanic Bible.
And they found something described as a witch's Bible in their home, too.
Plus that graffiti on their storage container. What did it say? Something about cats.
Yeah. 3 cats killed to date by people in this area. Witches don't like their black cat killed. Apparently, Sherilynn thought neighbors were poisoning their cats.
So she writes this warning. Using witches. It suggests they felt really isolated, maybe paranoid, threatened even.
It certainly points to a mindset of distrust, maybe fear of the people around them. You combine that with wanting to move to the middle of nowhere. It feels like they were trying to get away from something, real or imagined.
Okay, so fast forward. 4 long years pass. It's November 2013.
And hunters, out in a really remote spot, they stumble across human remains.
Finally, some kind of closure, but not really answers, right?
Not at all. The remains were found about 2.7 miles from where the truck was ditched.
Which sounds close, maybe, but wasn't that area searched before?
It was within the general search area, yeah. But the terrain there in the Sombois Mountains is incredibly rugged, super hilly, dense forest. It's not an easy walk.
Which brings up a huge question.
Yeah.
Bobby had bad back pain, right? Like really bad.
Reportedly, yeah. Difficulty walking even short distances.
Yeah.
So how did he manage nearly 3 miles through that kind of terrain?
Exactly. And the condition of the remains,
Mm-hmm.
mostly skeletal. After 4 years out there.
Yeah. Significant decomposition, animal activity. It made it basically impossible for the medical examiner to figure out how they died.
Didn't someone suggest falling leaves might have hidden them all that time?
An assistant special agent mentioned it, yeah. But with all the searching, cadaver dogs, it feels a bit thin, you know?
So the official report just says, what? Undetermined?
Undetermined cause of death. Happened under suspicious circumstances, which, well, tells us almost nothing concrete.
Leaving the door wide open for theories. And there are a lot of them.
Oh, yeah. Let's start with maybe the simplest one. They just got lost out there. Wandered off, succumbed to the elements.
Plausible, I guess, given how remote and wild it is.
But, like we said, the contradictions pile up fast. Why leave the phones, the money? Why leave the dog locked in the truck?
And Bobby's back pain again. How does he hike miles into the woods? It just doesn't track.
Right. So, another theory, maybe darker, murder-suicide.
Based on what? Sherilynn's history of depression.
That, and apparently a hate letter she wrote about Bobby was found, plus Bobby's own paranoia, the special bullets thing.
And wasn't there something about a hole in Bobby's skull? Like
Yeah.
a possible bullet hole?
Initially, yeah, but forensics couldn't confirm it was a gunshot. Could have been animals after death. And crucially, Sherilynn's pistol, a .22 caliber she supposedly owned, never found.
No confirmed gunshot wounds on Sherilynn or Madyson either.
Nope. And the way they were found, face down, close together, it struck some investigators as odd for a murder-suicide scene. Doesn't quite fit the usual pattern.
Okay, what about the money? That $32,000 has to point somewhere. The drug deal theory.
Definitely a popular one. Neighbors apparently said Bobby and Sherilynn looked gaunt, maybe unwell, beforehand. And that area is known for meth labs.
So maybe the cash was from a deal or for deal.
It's possible. But again, contradictions. No drugs, no paraphernalia found in the truck or the house.
And if it was a drug deal gone bad, like a robbery, why leave the $32,000 behind? That's the target, usually.
Exactly. And why? Why bring your 6-year-old daughter to a drug deal? It's horrifying to think about and doesn't make much sense.
So that pushes us towards just targeted foul play. Someone wanted them dead for some other reason.
And there are suspects, or at least people looked at. Bobby's own father, Bob Dean Jamison.
They had bad blood, right? Threats, a lawsuit over money.
Yeah, definitely conflict there. Sherilynn had even gotten a restraining order against him previously. But he had an alibi. He was in the hospital when they disappeared.
A solid alibi.
Seems like it. And even his own brother apparently doubted he was physically capable of doing something like this, though, you know, hiring someone is always a possibility, just no proof.
Then there was the handyman, Kenneth Bellows, white supremacist views, clashed with Sherilynn because of her Native American heritage.
Right. Heated arguments. She even reportedly fired a gun at him once. Very hostile relationship.
He had an alibi too, though.
Apparently so. But then this anonymous tip came in later about a supposed white supremacist hit list with the Jamisons' names on it.
Whoa. Any proof that list was real?
Nothing concrete ever emerged. So, like, the potential motive, it remains speculative, though obviously disturbing.
And Sherilynn's mom thought it might be a cult hit list in that area.
She did mention that belief, yeah. Claimed there was cult activity around there, but again, zero evidence found to back it up.
So maybe they just stumbled onto something, like a pot farm, another meth lab out in the woods.
Always a possibility in remote areas. You accidentally see something you shouldn't have. But we circle back to the valuables left in the truck. Why wouldn't killers take the money, the phones?
It's the constant sticking point. Okay, what about kidnapping? That last photo of Madyson, where she looks maybe scared or unhappy.
People have definitely focused on that photo. But if it was a kidnapping, why kill all three? And again, why leave the cash? It doesn't fit a ransom scenario.
And wasn't there some online theory about carbon monoxide poisoning explaining the weird packing behavior?
Popped up on Reddit, yeah. But absolutely zero evidence for it. Just pure speculation trying to explain the unexplainable.
Man, so many theories, and every single one seems to have major problems fitting all the facts.
That's what makes this case so frustrating and so endlessly debated. The facts themselves seem to contradict each other at times.
And there are still these nagging little details that don't fit anywhere, like the missing briefcase.
Right. Seen being put in the truck, but it wasn't found in the truck. Where did it go?
Could it have had more money? Or something else important? Documents. A weapon.
We just don't know. Its absence is a huge question mark. Could be totally insignificant, or it could be the key to the whole thing.
And that photo of Madyson, we mentioned her expression. But really, interpreting a kid's face in one photo, it's so subjective.
Totally. Kids make weird faces constantly. Trying to read deep meaning into it without context is risky. It might mean nothing at all.
Then there's that phone call, made from Bobby's phone, days after they vanished while the phone was supposedly locked in the truck.
October 12th, right. To voicemail. Who made it? How did they get into the locked phone in an abandoned truck? Was it law enforcement? Someone else?
And why call voicemail? Checking messages. Leaving one. It's just bizarre. Another loose end flapping in the wind.
It really is. A tiny detail maybe, but so strange it sticks out.
And the position of the bodies, found face down, close together. Does that mean anything?
Hard to say after 4 years in the elements. Could be how they fell, could be animal activity, could be staging by a killer. Without knowing how they died, it's just more speculation. And finally, we have to keep coming back to Bobby's back. Seriously, how did he travel almost 3 miles over that terrain?
It's the biggest physical inconsistency, isn't it? It just doesn't seem possible unless it was forced or unless something extraordinary happened. It really challenges any theory that involves them walking there willingly.
It heavily suggests they didn't reach that final spot under their own power, or at least not easily.
So, wrapping this up, we're left staring at this huge, complex puzzle with way too many missing pieces. No cause to death. Conflicting theories everywhere.
Yeah, the money, the dog, the stuff left behind, the paranormal angles, the strange footage, it's just layers upon layers of weirdness with no clear answer.
It's a chilling case. It really shows how completely a family can just vanish,
Yeah.
leaving only questions and shadows behind.
It really does. It resists any simple explanation, which is probably why it continues to fascinate and disturb people so much.
So for everyone listening, watching, what do you make of it all? The disturbing mystery of the Jamison family. Is there one piece of evidence you think is the key, that one detail that might unlock it?
We genuinely love to hear your thoughts. Drop your theories, your insights in the comments below.
And yeah, if this deep dive into the unsettling got you thinking, please make sure you subscribe to The Sins Within. Give us that like. We've got many more of these chilling stories to share.
Thanks for joining us on our first deep dive. We'll see you next time.